So this next part, and then you're going to divide like usual till you have a remainder of 0. So example number 1, 3 and 6 tenths divided by 1 and 2 tenths. So I'm going to 3 and 6 tenths goes in my box, 1 and 2 tenths goes outside. So that means I have to move this decimal until it's a whole number. So if I move that once, I have to move the same number of times in the dividend one time. Okay? And I like to rewrite it so that it's a little bit better, or a little neater. Then divide like normal. So 12 and a 36 goes 3 times. 3 times 12 is 36 and 0. So my answer is 3. Tickets to the school dance cost $6.25. The amount received from the ticket sales is $706.25. How many students attend the dance? So your total is $706.25. Okay? Each ticket is $6.25. So we're going to divide 706 and 25 cents, or $706.25 by $6.25. Okay. I have to move in my divisor. I'm moving my decimal twice, so I'm doing the same thing in my dividend. So I'm going to rewrite it as 625 and 706.25. It's a little tight here. Okay. So then I divide like normal. So can 625 go into 7? No. Can 625 go into 70? No. Can 625 go into 706? Well, yes, it can. It can go in at least one time. So I put the 1 above the 6. 1 times 625 is 625. Then we're going to subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1. 2 can't, I can't take 2 from 0, so I'm going to make it a 10. 10 from 2, 10 minus 2 is 8. And borrow. Then I'm going to bring down the 2. How many times does 625 go into 812? Well, again, one time. Okay, so one time is going to be 625. Okay, borrow. 12 minus 5 is 7. And then 10 minus 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. Okay. Borrow again. 7 minus 2 is 6, or 1. Bring down your 5. Now you have 625. How many times does 625 go to 1,875? Okay. Well, you know at one time it can go in. Let's see if it can go in more than that. So can it go twice? Yes, it can probably go twice. Let's try it. Well, you know, 625 times 2 is going to be 1250. Well, can it go 3 times? Well, 625 times 3, 18, 7. So guess what? It goes in 3 times. So, and then 3, 18, 75. So it goes in. So that means how many students attended? 113 students attended the dance. Okay? All right. All right, so number 1, 8 and 6400s divided by 1500s. Okay, so 868 and 6400s goes in my box. 1500s goes outside. Remember, I'm going to move my decimal in my divisor twice, so I'm going to move in the dividend twice. Okay. I can rewrite this as 15 into 864. So how many times is 15 going to 8? None. How many times is 15 going to 86? Well, 15 times 4 is 60. 15 times 5 is 75. So that times 5 would probably be the closest. So that'd be 75. 11 left over. How many times does 15 go into 114? Well, 15 times 6 is 90. 15 times 7 is going to be 105. So that would probably be the closest. So 57. 5 times 15 is 105. And then what's 14 minus 5 is going to be 9. All right. So I still have something left over. So that means I have to add zeros. So I'm going to add a decimal point here and a 0. So because I can keep going. So bring down the 0. And 15 into 90, well, we just figured it out, is 6. And put the decimal straight up in the quotient. So my answer is 57 6/10. Because that works out perfectly with a 90. Okay? Okay. Let's take a look at number 2. 38 hundredths divided by 5 hundredths. And 38 hundredths is going to go in my box. 5 hundredths is going to go outside. We got to move the decimal point over twice. Move the decimal point twice. So I'm going to rewrite this. So 5 into 38. Okay. So how many times is 5 going to 38? Well, that's going to be 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay. 3 left over. So then I have to add a decimal point here, and a decimal point right here, and a 0, because I can keep going. Bring down your 0. 5 into 30 is 6. So my answer is 7 6/10. The next one, let me erase some of this. Okay. We have 6 5/10 divided by 1 3/10. Okay. So we have 6 5/10 in my dividend, and 1 3/10 on the outside of my box, the divisor. So I have to move my decimal one time. So I move my decimal in the dividend one time. So now I have 13 65. My decimal is going to be right here, right after the 65. So how many times is 13 going in 65? Well, that's going to be 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. So it works out evenly. 5 times. All right, so Tasman is saving $4.95 each week to buy a DVD that costs $24.75, including tax. For how many weeks will he have to save? So because I have the total, $4.75, and if I save $4.95 each week, I'm going to divide. Okay, so $24.75 goes in my box, and then $4.95 goes on the outside. And my divisor, I have to move it the decimal twice. So I did move it in the dividend twice. 1, 2. So I'm going to rewrite this. 2,475 divided by 495. Okay? So how many times is 495 going into 2? Can't do it. 495 into 24, can't do it. 495 into 247, can't do it. So how many times does 495 go into 2,475? Okay? Well, we know it goes in once, but I know it goes in more than once. How about twice? Probably more than twice. Okay? 3 times? Let's see. 495 times 3. 5 times 3 is 5, carry the 1. 15, carry the 1. 9 times 3 is 27, 28. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. Okay, definitely more than 3 times. Okay, let's try to see if it goes in 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 9 times 5 is 45. Plus 2 is 47. Carry the 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. So it goes in 5 times. And then we remultiplied. So it's going to take him 5 weeks to save. So we say 5 weeks. Okay? All right, let's look at the very last problem. You have 3 and 4/10 gigabytes available on your iPod. Each song is about 4,000 gigabyte. How many songs can you download onto your iPod? So 3 and 4/10 is my total space I have. Each song is 400ths. So that means that the total is 3 and 4/10, which is my dividend. And then each song takes up 4,000 gigabytes. So move my decimal 1, 2, 3. So I got to move in my dividend 1, 2, 3. So I got to fill the empty spaces with zeros. Put my decimal at the end, put my decimal in the quotient. So how many times, I'm going to rewrite this as 4 into 3,400. So how many times does 4 go into 34? Well, that goes in 8 times. 8 times 4 is 32. 2 is left over. 4 into 20 is going to be 5. 5 times 4 is 20. And then bring down the extra 0. And so that's 0. So I can fit 850 songs. That's a lot of songs on my iPod. So that concludes the dividing decimals notes. And we will be practicing dividing decimals when you come to class.